At the point where they invaded your house, according to you, it's an invasion, but they said that they just went to make a protest. At that point, when you used your stick...
By 4 a.m.?
At that point, when you used your stick to maybe tap on the tanker and discovered that it was maybe loaded with some substance, I'm not sure what it is, if it is petrol or diesel. At that point, did you send thugs after them?
I left my premises. That was when I was going to a meeting at around 8 a.m. They have been on the siege since 4 o'clock. I couldn't have sent talks after them because I went to Federal Executive Council. So I was in council. But why should people go to people's houses at 4 a.m.? And they tell you that I'm a public figure, so that my place is a public place. That's the language they're using. They say it's an official residence. Picketing laws don't permit you to go to people's homes. It doesn't. If you look at even Nigerian laws, it bars you from restricting or obstructing a person because that's my freedom. I have freedom of movement. Where your own right ends, my own starts. And no freedom is absolute. Freedom to picket. If you go to the labor law, it says peaceful picketing. That is the heading given to it. And says nothing there permits you to obstruct or restrict movement of any person.
They claim that you had been running affairs of labor from your home for a while. Is that true?
They even said that I was going to inaugurate a board. That's what they said yesterday in their placard. How can I inaugurate a board in my sitting room? A person who has not gone to work for nearly 10 days. So how? They're just looking for a straw to clutch onto. They have personal interest in NSITF.
Do you think
and by extension, Trust Fund Pension PLC, which is a sister company to NSITF, in which whoever is the chairman of NSITF also becomes chairman there. And they're on the board. It's a company formed by NSITF, 100%, with 60 billion from NSITF. And we brought in private people, including NLC, to give it a coloration. The tripartite coloration. And they are now looking at it as their personal property, even trying to appropriate the 40% that was owned by federal government. And they said, no, you can't. They have refused NSITF people from coming on the board.
So far, so good. Some people will say that Labour has not been indicted in the corruption which you have mentioned happened in NSITF of the past. Isn't that right? Or did they have a hand in it?
There's an administrative panel report. What EFCC did is criminal trail. I cannot go to a bank now and ask for an account detail. EFCC can. So when EFCC have done their criminal and forensic, it is left for us now to do the administrative aspect so that we know how come with audit facilities in place that this kind of money went out from that fund and there are no trail.
Are you suspecting that, are you saying that Labour might have had a hand in it?
We have an audit panel. Like I said, an audit panel of inquiry on the financial matters of NSITF. And besides, I went the extra hog of getting what we call periodic check of the Auditor General. I have the reports. So when they're talking about they are not involved, they are not, I just look at them. But more importantly, if you have a board looking at any place, if it is a financial misappropriations, lease, or bad behavior there, do you exonerate the board? You don't. The board, holistically, is to be blamed. Because the other members look the other way. Without considering, the other members look the other way. Because maybe they're getting something from under the table. So all this talk, oh, Labour people there were not being prosecuted. It's not everything that you prosecute. EFCC is not prosecuting everybody. After all, some people have made their returns. They return the money. AFCC have done forfeiture, interim forfeiture for the houses, about 32 houses that were bought from the money. Yes. And some people have also refunded money back. And they're not being prosecuted. So let us not let him not even go there. Because I know what I am seeing there. And that is why I took all my actions and put it in a work plan of what I have to do there. And Mr. President approved.
Honourable Minister, you know that well. When it came to the appointment of boards and the inauguration of boards, it became a rather contentious issue, even within your party. Do you think that this has had anything to do with your party as well? I mean, we recall before now that the chairman of the APC, Adams Oshomole, also had to take this matter up, not with regard to NSITF, but in general with ministers refusing to inaugurate their boards. Do ministers usually have any problems with boards in their ministries and parastatals?
Okay, I'll give you a typical example now. In the aviation, the boards in aviation are not being inaugurated. And they're accusing the minister, Senator Serika, of overt interest. He's running the place like a one-man show, sole administrator, just the same way they were talking about NSITF. But within them, the labor people, they know what I'm doing. They know. They know that I have resuscitated the place. The place was prostrate on the ground by the time I came. Salaries were not being paid. When they will be paid in tranches. Allowances were owed for 5 years. Promotions, none. Because they don't promote because they didn't have enough money.
That's not my question, sir. The question is, do ministers have problems with their boards?
I'm just talking about the sole administratorship they're talking about. I've told you about the aviation boards. Membership of aviation boards, as per the act setting those places up, whether FAN, SEAA, they say you must have an aviation certificate.
So what you're saying then is that ministers have not had input into the nomination of their boards?
I haven't told you so. There was a committee put in place.
There is an example that you have given, which is your own. The fact that you did not recommend Mr. Frank
I did not.
Yeah.
That is a simple matter.
And if you're talking about
so
it being
Mr.
Wabba
will then explain to you people where he made his nomination and whether he has the power to do that nomination.
You are alleging that he did. He says he had absolutely nothing
Why did he come to tell me that he was asked to bring a nomination?
Well, we don't have that on camera. But let's quickly go to Lagos now. I understand that my colleague Ayo has a question for you.
Yes, Honourable Minister, among the facts on ground is that government appointees are the ones culpable in the corruption since discovered at the NSITF. Going forward, how do we ensure this doesn't happen again and the workers' money are secure?
Two things. It is not true that it's only government appointees. The people also nominated by NECA were also liable, and the FCC is prosecuting them today. The other people, the MD, chairman, yes, they were government appointees. That's what I want to clear for you. The mere fact that the labor people on the board are not being prosecuted does not mean that they were free. I've told that some people have refunded money and they are not being prosecuted. In fact, one of them who refunded money did a voluntary resignation from the company and then had to go. That's one. Two, this money is not workers' money. Let us be clear about it. It is a subscription, a premium payment by employers, government and private people for the welfare of their worker in terms of compensation. If they have workplace accident, injuries arising from it, death, and the rest of them all. Benefit for themselves and their family. If they are dead, up to 21 years, they will train all your children. So these are the things. It's not their money. If you extrapolate and say it's their money, so the money for national health insurance, which again government and the employers are paying for their workers, is workers' money. It's not. Even in NSITF, the contribution, the employers have right to make claims. You make claims and say, this my worker has been out from work for 7 days and I've employed another person to fill the gap. Please pay me this amount of money. And it will be processed. So for them to be saying workers' money, it's not. No worker emolument is taken from it. I watched the NLC president say that the worker contributes from his emolument. No, their salary is not touched. None of the allowances is touched. But their employers, to give them benefit, to give them a social security cover, pays for them.
No, he says
no worker can make a direct claim.
Sorry to interrupt you,
Yes.
Honorable Minister. He says that because eventually it is workers, that money is contributed for the purpose of workers. He says it's very much like pensions where workers and employers contribute.
Correct.
At the end of the day, it is for the worker.
But in this case, the worker contributes nothing.
The worker doesn't contribute
No,
anything.
it doesn't.
But the
So
money
pension is different.
The money is contributed on behalf of the worker.
Of course, by me, who is his employer.
By extension, it is the worker's money, isn't it?
No, I don't agree.
I mean, we can stay here and argue all day, but let's really talk about minimum wage right now. Let's talk about minimum wage, because some people will say that it's possible that your relationship, which is degenerating with labor, could have an effect on the implementation of minimum wage. Labor is saying that so far so good, apart from the law which has been signed, there has been no activity to show that this minimum wage is going to be implemented. How do you respond?
They demonstrated yesterday. They had no reason for demonstration again. So they went and brought up issue of minimum wage as a cover-up, as one of the issues, so that they can demonstrate and so that the budget for the demonstration will be finished. Yes.
Well, you can allege all you want, but the question is, this has been passed into law.
It is passed into law.
What is happening?
Mr. President passes into
there are
law
no
on the 18th.
circulars in ministry departments and agencies.
The circulars are coming out.
When?
No, we have to do the needful. We have to lay the foundation. National Salaries and Incomes and Wages Commission is the body responsible now for implementation template. Budget and Planning Minister have also started his own work. The appropriation we have, is it enough? If it's not enough, what do we do? He has sent a memo to us in council.
As the chief labor, officer,
yes,
you should be interested definitely.
I'm interested
in the welfare of your workers.
No, the federal government.
How long do you think it will take?
I have suggested
for this to be implemented.
I have suggested at the last council, and the federal government has acted fast for a committee, an implementation committee on government side. That committee will be inaugurated today in the office of the SGF. There are about 7 ministers who are there. The head of service of the Federation will chair the committee. The chairman of the Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission will be the secretary, and will have the secretariat. The idea being that government wants to do its own template and then start negotiation. You can't negotiate the minimum wage anymore. GL1 step 1 is known, 30,000. But immediately you give that person 30,000. You have impinged on another person who is already earning 30,000.
Are you saying that government hasn't thought through this? I mean, there still has to be another negotiation to know what the other levels will be earning?
Upstairs, yes, there will be.
How long is this going to take?
No. It depends. It could be 1 week, it could be 5 days. People will come with their position.
What is the maximum time you're given for the implementation of this minimum wage?
I do not know. Suppose you go to the negotiation and the other partner proves impossible. You continue doing social dialogue. That's what it is.
A law has been passed, Honorable Minister.
What does the law say? That the minimum person, the person on the lowest rung of the ladder, should earn 30,000. That's what the law says.
In implementation of that law,
yes,
what is going to happen?
That's what I'm telling you.
So right now...
That there will be consequential adjustment upstairs.
Yes.
But the law itself is for the most vulnerable, the lowest person in any service, whether public service or private sector. that you don't pay him anything less than 30,000. That is the law.
So when is that going to start? For the
lowest person.
For the lowest person.
No, that one is not a problem at all. All establishments know who their lowest persons are. They will just compute it,
when?
multiply. No. It's a law. Okay. It's a law. It's taking effect. If you don't pay it today, you pay arrears.
From this month?
From the 18th.
Okay.
You calculate it from the 18th.
Well, we have
it from the 18th.
I'm sure that there's something definitely that workers then can look to, and when that doesn't happen, I know that we'll definitely be hearing again from the workers.
They'll get their money. They'll get their money.
Well, Honourable Minister,
the president is keen on paying it. That is why last council we devoted about half of the time of last council on that. Yes.
We have to thank you for coming on Sunrise Studies this morning. Honourable Minister Ngige is the Minister for Labour and Employment.